chapter 5, section 5. I thought I would be in bed like a while ago, but I'm still going, and we'll just go for it. So we are on section 5 is the ego's use of guilt. And I'm simply going to share whatever stood out to me and see what comes through as perhaps helpful commentary. So I circled line 3 in paragraph 2. What is truly blessed is incapable of giving rise to guilt and must give rise to joy. So it kind of, this section is talking about, guilt, how the ego uses it. In line 8, similar, same paragraph 2. If the ego is the symbol of the separation, it is also the symbol of guilt. And I have to say that as I read this, and as I've heard other teachers talk about it, and as it came to me today, as I worked with a counseling client, here's what I'm understanding at this given moment now, because I have this sense that there is this subconscious, it feels quite complex, that as I understand it, there is a guilt that the human race carries, whether they're aware of it or not. There is a guilt for those who haven't healed it. There is guilt that we left the kingdom of God. Like, I just heard Jennifer Hadley teach this today, like in an old class, but I was listening to it. And she said, the prodigal son story, where the son leaves the kingdom, goes off, squanders his inheritance, comes back, sleeps with the pigs or something, thinks he's going to sleep with the pigs, and the father's like, come inside. That we all are in some way the prodigal son in moments where we wander off, we try to make our own way out of life, and perhaps it's this leaving that we have guilt for leaving, and we have this unworthiness that we don't feel worthy to be received back into the kingdom because we left. We've been unloving, we've been unkind, we've had this exploration in life. That's what Jennifer Hadley was teaching. Like, you go off. She retold the story like, okay, what it is that this dude went off on an adventure. He was just trying something new, But anyway, we carry around this guilt, and it's just this like subconscious, collective guilt for leaving God. And then there are times where we feel alone, perhaps, and we feel like God left us. So there's just this guilt, and it kind of can catch us in some ways. In my best terminology, which is not at all, I don't feel accurate, it's like coming and going, We're guilty because we left. We feel guilty coming back, and there's a sense that God has left us. Maybe we feel like that. So we feel unworthy, and so I know that there's all that going on, and I feel like the way out of that whole, what feels to me like some kind of psychological and subconscious mess, because today in my counseling session I had this sense that there's like this low vibration of shame and guilt, and it's kind of like this, picturing it like I don't know why, but I'm thinking of it like, there's like a cliff, and then there's this ravine pit of yuck. And we have spiritual practices because this mucky, low vibratory place in the mind, it's there somewhere collectively. So we do practices to remember the truth and to lift the vibratory frequency to stay out of there, because I'm not sure if that ever gets healed like in the mind because it's shared, or it's just that people learn how to exist at the other frequency ladders up higher where you don't have to live down there. Not that you get rid of it, but that you learn not to stay there and you dismiss the temptation to live down there or to be down there. So thanks for letting me share. I'm just like saying what I feel like is what I'm understanding. So it says, paragraph 3, line 6, whenever you respond to your ego, you will experience guilt and you will fear punishment. The ego is quite literally a fearful thought. Yeah. So it's like when we wander off from love and we go have these thoughts of attack, we feel guilty that we left love, just like you leaving the house of God. It's like there's only one place of creation. And it's like when we leave it and go off and do other things, we feel bad. And we feel, Paragraph 4, line 1, whenever you accept into your mind, whatever you accept into your mind has reality for you. It is your acceptance of it that makes it real. If you enthrone the ego in your mind, you're allowing it to enter, makes it your reality. So this to me is the way it's like, well, just recognize you're choosing to put the ego like in the driver's seat control center, which is going to make you afraid. It's going to have you think attack and judgment is awesome and justified. But just as much as you put that there, you can make a different choice. So it's like, when you choose that, here's what you get. It says, I said before, you must learn to think with God. To think with him is to think like him. This engenders joy, not guilt, because it is natural. And this is what I keep hearing in different ways. How do you know who's in the control center? Based on how you feel. And based on if, I heard it said today by Guru Jagat is like my yoga teacher, one of the trainers I was working with. Anyway, she was saying, and Jennifer Hadley says this too, it's just like, what gives you energy is capital R reality. And that's like, you've got spirit in the control center. You're on the love mission. What detracts, what drags down your energy is when you've got a fearful manager up in there. Okay. Being sane, the mind heals the body because it has been healed. The sane mind cannot conceive of illness because it cannot conceive of attacking anyone or anything. Yeah. And we were talking about this because when you've got spirit at the control center, then the effect of that is recognizing you're not a body. So when spirit in truth is at the center and it's your path, it comes with a whole bunch of belief system. Like it comes with a belief system that always gives you energy, is peaceful, and you truly feel invulnerable because you're not centered in the body identification, which is the ego's home, which we learned before. Okay, what you made can always be changed because when you do not think like God, you are not really thinking. So, don't worry, you can go another way. And you haven't really made any mistake. You've just not chosen to be who you are. It's okay. Okay. We're at the end. Any decision of the mind will affect both behavior and experience. What you want, you expect. Your mind does make your future, and it will turn it back to full creation at any minute if it accepts the atonement first. So the atonement is kind of like a package deal, If only you could like place an order. Like, I don't know why I'm thinking of like, like a cable package, like, hey, you buy, subscribe to, Hulu, Oops, sorry. And then you get all these like bonuses, you know? It's like accept the atonement, and here are all the bonuses. You feel invulnerable. You feel at peace. You see your brother as yourself. You're partnered up with spirit constantly, so all your decisions have grace and ease in them. You know, it's like that is the package deal. So let's say a quick prayer. Okay, and so we're so thankful to be super aware of guilt and the ego's relationship to guilt, and the fact that guilt is a wake-up call, that we have placed the ego at the control center, that we have left our comfortable, loving, peaceful home of spirit, of God, of the infinite creator, which is an actual choice we can make, is to stay in that same vibration, is to remain as we were created from the beginning, a pure, divine, limitless, magnificent creation. If ever we feel we've been attacked, or we should attack, or we want to now get down off of our dignified thrones and battle it out in the muck, we can just say, oh, shoot, I can come home. Let me go home. Let me return home to my peaceful, natural state. And we're grateful that this is happening. And as we awaken, we know it has an effect on all of humanity, because we are one piece of the puzzle. And whatever happens at our micro level, it does affect the macro. And we hold for all of humanity to live far above the frequencies of shame and guilt and unworthiness. And we rise up out of it, and we begin to experience the homecoming of peace and love and joy. And we're grateful for this. It's simply a choice in the mind. We're becoming super aware. So these days are numbering where we are at all suffering or experiencing lack of vitality. Bring it on, full restoration of the truth of our being. We are receiving it now. We share it with everyone. And so it is.